Hey guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video I'll be going through the Geelong versus Western Bulldogs game in which Geelong thumped them in the end. And yeah, it was a pretty big win in the end for Geelong, winning by 48 points. PRESPAKIS and McDonald absolutely starred for Geelong. And Edmonds put up a good fight for Western Bulldogs, especially the first half. I think she put up 80 or so points in the first half, 89 here looking at it. But then she fell away and only scored 23 in the second half to get to a 109. So in the end, PRESPAKIS just took over in the third quarter and Geelong looked really, really comfortable in the end. But before we get into the video, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload, and let's get into the video. So as you can see here, here are the stats. Here's the score in the end, obviously. And then, so we start with PRESPAKIS, 147, 90% time on ground, 34 touches, which actually, if I go over to here, you can see 22 and 12. I just needed that for that. And then 4 marks, 11 tackles, absolutely ridiculous. And basically the question for me is, do I go Davey and Morrison, which we'll get to, or do I go PRESPAKIS and Single, as they're both very, very similar in numbers. But which one do I go for? I think they actually had the exact same output at 227, I believe. Or no, Morrison and Davey is 228, I believe, and PRESPAKIS and Single are 227. So it's which one do I go for? And it's whether do I think that PRESPAKIS is going to hold 147, or do I think Davey is going to hold? Which one's going to drop further from their average? And is Morrison going to pick it up a little bit? Or is Single going to pick it up with her role? So that's basically the question. And it's actually a really hard answer to get to. But we'll get to that in the Thursday or Friday team reveal, etc. and trade targets. Then we move over to McDonald here, one of the many A McDonalds. I think they have 2 A McDonalds. They have an A Maloney as well. They have also a D Maloney here. You got an M McDonald here. So whenever you try to, because I do have, I think it's Abby McDonald down here in 53 points. Whenever you try and look at the bench and you're like, oh, A McDonald's off, you actually have to go into the go onto the web app on like your laptop or something like that to see the photo, because you don't know which one of them it is because they don't do first names or whatever. And yeah, so just really annoying that that is the case, and just annoying that McDonald here, as you can see, 61% game time, got stuck on the bench when she plays a defending role that doesn't really have much movement. So yeah, really annoying that she got stuck there, and because she started off really well. She started off McDonald here 15, 28, and then 6 and 4 in the last is really annoying. If she'd gone, I didn't even know, another 10 points here, I would have jumped up another probably 200, 300 ranks just off that. But what can you do? And then you have here Parry, 3 goals to get to a 99. She looks really strong, but the problem with Parry is that I don't know if the 8 marks and 3 tackles will necessarily hold. So we're going to have to do more research into that. Sermon, 98, 17 touches, 4 marks, 7 tackles, 2 goals there, so don't know if that scoring will necessarily hold. Then you have Morrison, 21, 6 and 5, 1 goal, 1 as well to get to a 97. But yeah, the 21 touches, I'm really looking at that, as well as the fact that she did play a lot of time on ball. I believe it was 50%. So she has definitely the better role and is a mid forward. So getting her as a forward is probably gonna be beneficial across the year, especially because she looks like she could be a forward that averages 90, 95, and those type of forwards will tend to go up in price towards that 1.2, 1.3. So for getting her for, what is it in the end that you're going to get her for? You can get her for, at the moment, 1.05. When she's probably going to, if she averages, say, 90, which is a little bit lower than what she scored in round 1, if she averages 90, that gets her all the way up to about 1.2 million, 1.25 million, whereas if she averages closer to 95 or 100, that's going to progress up towards that 1.35, 1.4, and yeah, saving 300k for her is going to be huge over Lucy Single or someone like that who could easily just have had a good game, etc. And with the role that she's in, but Lucy Single also has that role. So it will be interesting to see how she scores, Lucy, and as that is a potential way to move stuff around if she does score well, but we'll have to wait and see on that one. Morrison, 93, 21 touches, pretty good effort there. Maloney, 21 touches, 93 with a goal. Crockett Grills, 91, 20 touches, 7 marks. Gunjaga, 71 off 15 and 8 marks. So there again, another high scoring. There you go. Just trying to see if I thought I wasn't recording for a second, so I was pretty confused. But no, it was just a different timer on 0. Then you got Bowen, 12 disposals, 65. McDonald, 15 for 59. And yeah, just none of the real defenders really got involved, which is sort of something that we're seeing at AFL fantasy level with the women's, is just none of the defenders getting top numbers. You have here a lot of them in the low teens. Gunjaga at 15 was pretty high, and she got like 4 or 5 intercept marks, to be honest, so that's why she was that high. But yeah, none of them going that much. So yeah, going to be interesting to see what happens with the defenders across the year. But I have a feeling you're gonna find that defenders seem to not really be the ones that go into the midfield. It's more the forwards. So that gives them there's 3 or 4 forwards that are probably going to be full-time mids. So that gives them the comparative advantage of having that midfield role, which seems to be about 20 or 30 higher than any other role, to be honest, or the potential, the top end, to be 20, 30 points higher. And even the forwards, especially in dominant teams, they're almost midfielders themselves because it's down there so often that they just get the ball more. Whereas defenders, they don't really switch the ball as much, so it's really hard for defenders to score well, as you don't really see, because of just like physics and stuff like that, and the muscular difference between, I think, the males and females. The kicking isn't as not as quick to transfer between like switches and stuff like that, so you don't really see that as much. You don't really see them kicking down back and across as much. You more see you see some little 45 meter kicks, 45 angle kicks, but a lot of the time it is just down the ground and a bit hoping one of the tools takes a mark or someone on the floor can crumb it. That is basically how it seems like the AFLW is playing. So given that, I'd be waiting on the defenders to see who has the better role, who has the more kickouts, etc., as that seems to be one of the dominating factors, and just waiting to see if any of those defenders can get that midfield game time. Moving over to Western Bulldogs, Edmund, as we said, huge first half with an 89 and then fell away in the second half. Blackburn, 27 touches for a 94, pretty good. Pritchard, 14 touches for an 84 is pretty good. Fitzgerald, 18 touches, 68. So you really see a fall off here for Western Bulldogs. Moody, 62, Hartwig, 61, Lamb, 61. I don't really remember too much from this game, as I think I was doing some other stuff, but I remember watching it to a certain degree. There we go. Let me at least show you the stats for Western Bulldogs, I guess. Then you've got here Hartwig, Lamb, Carruthers, Lynch. None of these girls really did terribly too much, and that's why they're a little bit lower. And yeah, so at the end of the day, it pretty much shows to me that I think we're going to be looking to try and find the girls here, especially for at least Geelong here. You can see 181 disposals, quite a high number. Marks, quite a high number, 78 tackles. Like, they're dominating every single thing except for the hit-outs, as they don't really have a dominant ruckman in Hoare. But hopefully she can come back in week 2, as she did play the Edmonds, who seems to be a really good ruckman, just from what I can see. And hopefully she can put up stats to enable her to price rise, because you really want to, by the end of the season, it seems like, get up to, if you can get those rookie ruckmen and get them up to Edmonds as quick as possible, Edmonds, or there's even Moffat should be really good at this point. Getting her next week would be absolutely huge. There's some other girls as well, but yeah, there's like 3 or 4 girls that you probably need to try and get up to in the ruck as quickly as possible. I think most teams will be able to access the ruckman by round 3 or 4, and also have a complete midfield and a complete forward line by then, pretty much. And then it's fixing up the back line, I guess. But that is pretty much the video there. And if I go back to the main screen, there we go. That is the video, and I guess I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks, guys. Goodbye.